I've not used this before, so I'm just trying it out.
Like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit a rewind. You wanna come over, just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Hey buddy, no strangers here. These times I hold them dear. My door's open, so come on in. This was great, let's do it again. Like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly.
All right, now get your tinfoil hats ready, or if you're lucky enough to have one of these, put that on, because today we're talking about the unexplained, the unproven, the unimaginable, the uncanny, the things that go bump in the night. Speaking of things that go bump in the night, how are you, Gazz?
I'm good. How are you, Cecil?
Yeah, mate, I couldn't possibly be any better. Due to time zone differences, some people believe that our show has started late, when in actual fact, it's right on time for me. Not that I'm not ever late to these things. Let's do the Clubhouse roll call real quick, and then we'll bring in our buddies. So if you want to be part of the Clubhouse roll call, you just have to be a channel member or a Patreon supporter. So we have Wilhelm Toy and Hobby, Casey Wheeler, Ratface44 Reviews, David Samuel Blaine, our buddy Nate, the Retro Tinker, Cindy K, who's going to get one of these hats, Sonny's Sundries, Jonathan Sorensen, Happy Accident, Joshua Allen, our buddy Go Figure, who I have a feeling is might make an appearance today. We also have Scuba Pete keeping us safe in the oceans below, Treasures for Trigger, our buddy Phil, Hans Chow kicking the door in, I'm sure he'll kick the door in here soon in a minute, Ken Poe, Brendan Haley, Jason Clark, Titanium Princess, Grindhead Jim, Justin Bryant, and Space Commander keeping us safe above, and so that, you know, we're pretty much set now. Right, above and below, Scuba Pete and Space Commander, which is good because we're going to get creepy crawlies today. We also have our Clubhouse members, Cindy K, Gaz, hey, that's you, Beta Ray Bob, Spacey, Jason Stillwell, it's Chad, Ryan Sweeney, Keep On Collecting, and Crash. Speaking of Crash, I have a feeling he's going to show up too. And if you are a channel member or a Patreon supporter, you can watch right after this show the live stream Crash and Burn episode 2. So if you're a member or if you're a Patreon supporter, you can jump on right after this stream and hang out with the after show, Crash and Burn. So let us bring in our guest. Now, we thought about it, right? Who are we going to have? If we were going to go out and look at nighttime, because you're always going to do this stuff at nighttime, right? If we're going to do this at night, and we're going to bring some buddies along with us, right? Who are you going to call?
Adam, Crash, and Hans.
Adam, Crash, and Hans. Here's Crash, Hans, and our buddy Adam coming in hot. Hot in the city tonight.
Do this.
Now, I don't feel so scared yet. We're going to say hi to the chat real quick. You changed your time. Why? We didn't. Well, I didn't. The world did. Here we go.
I forgot about daylight savings. I'm sorry.
Oh, yes. Well, that's fine. You don't have to be sorry. You never have to be sorry. Nodsy is here. Ken coming in with 4% battery. Uh-oh. Lilith, how are you, Lilith? Good to see you. Cutthroat Comics with all the things. Stephen Hall with a hey-oh and a G'day Legends from Rob Vegas himself. Don't forget to hit that like button while you're here. The links to everybody is in the description. I've got Instagram links and I've got YouTube links for everybody on screen right now. And don't forget, shoot the shit right after this show. We've got the after show. Crash and Burn with our buddy Crash, which makes sense. Yep. But right now, we're talking about UFOs. We're talking about cryptid creatures. We're talking about, I don't know, maybe we'll get into some ghosts and goblins. We'll see how far into it we get. I know Adam's brought a bunch of slides with us, but I want to.
Crash is
Uh-oh.
gone.
We
Crash-
spooked him.
Crash and burned.
He's like, you say anything about
Crash-
UFOs? And he just clicked out.
He'll be back and in greater numbers. Adam, I know that you're starting to freeze a little, and I wonder if it's alien technology.
Yeah.
It might be the alien technology. I
It's the
hope
government.
Yeah, I am connected through Gaggle, so maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, that's probably what it
that
is.
gaggle.
Gazz, you came to me with this idea. This is Gazz's show because that's why it's Gazz and Zaz. But you came to me with the idea of the show. I was like, yes, love it. Want to talk about it. I've got my own opinions on it. But I wanted to, if you'll indulge me for a minute, because I know Adam's brought us some tremendous slides. I wanted to just present just a quick slide of a local cryptid from Australia. If you'll just let me take you through this real quick.
Go for it.
I want to talk to you about today the bunyip. Has anyone heard of a bunyip?
No.
I have.
Wow.
So
look
let
at that.
me give you a little bit of history on the bunyip. So the bunyip is a creature from the Aboriginal mythology of southeastern Australia, said to lurk in swamps, billabongs, creeks, riverbeds, and watering holes. I said creeks, I think creeks. But look at that thing.
It looks like a giant Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
It does a little bit. We've got other artist interpretations if you'd like to see them.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have this one here, the bunyip.
Look at
This
that
is a
thing.
photograph.
What is that dude got on his back? Is that a fish?
That's a catfish. That dude's got a
Oh,
catfish
it's
on his
a
back.
catfish on his back.
It could be a baby bunyip.
Maybe
don't
it is.
know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Is that why he's so angry? Because they're taking his baby?
I'm loving
I-
that mustache.
I have a feeling that might be what it is. That is an epic mo.
That
I
is
have
a-
one more. I've got one more artist interpretation if you'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Whoa. A little bit different.
whoa.
That looks like it's calamari.
Yeah.
It does look. I wonder what it tastes like.
Calamari.
Now, guys, I have to level with you. I've shown you these artist interpretations because I actually have some real photographs of a bunyip.
Oh,
we
let's
go.
go.
Here we go.
If you're watching at home, and my friends here on the screen, what you're about to see
Mhm.
may scare you. It may spook you. Be prepared.
Put your
You may
children in
soil
bed.
yourself. Here is actual. Now, the first photo is a bit grainy. And there it is.
What
That's not
is
a
that?
bunny, that's a brony.
dubbed Alexander Bunyip. As you can see, he's either running down or running with this gentleman. Now, why is it all the time? There's always a grainy photo of something where how do we not have clear and precise photos of the bunyip? You might look at this and go, it's too grainy, it's not real, that could be anything. Well, I've got one final photo to show you, clear as day. Tell me the bunyip doesn't exist with this. Check it out. A real life bunyip.
What happened to his shorts and suspenders?
Well, I mean, look at the face of the other guy. He's just as
That's what I'm
surprised as
saying.
you are.
He's going, look at his bunyip.
If you go back to the other
Uh-oh.
slides, is on the beach.
Yeah.
This looks like a deleted scene from Rocky 3, but it's just like down the beach from Apollo and Rocky, or these guys chasing him.
Yeah.
Holy
Alexander
man.
the Bunyip. He had a TV show in Australia, believe it or not. Is that
I believe
Roger? Is that Roger Darley from The Who? No.
No, that's not Roger Daltrey.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, it is creepy. But yeah, he had his own TV show, series of books.
Some fabulous
It was
hair.
big. It was big, I
So-
tell you.
This
They-
is a mascot based off of a folk legend. A
Yeah.
Yes,
folklore,
correct.
right? Nice.
Speaking of Australian television, can you confirm something for me?
I sure can.
I was talking to another Australian friend of mine, and we were talking about Saturday morning cartoons, and I mentioned to him Rocket Robin Hood, which I turned Gazz onto, which is
Right.
brilliant. And he was like, "We didn't have that. We had the Banana Man.
I know.
Oh yeah, we had Banana Man. Yeah,
You had banana, and so this was a guy who would eat a banana and get powers."
yeah, and you turn into a banana. I'll get a photo for you.
Here it was on Nickelodeon with was right after Danger Mouse.
I
there was
never
Yeah,
seen
Danger
a
Man.
Banana Man in my life.
Yeah.
It's a British cartoon though. It's not Australian.
Oh, it's the British one. That makes more. Oh, it's a Banana Man.
Banana Man. Anyway, that's there's Banana Man.
Look at him go. Look at that guy.
It's
Oh,
great
God,
that they made a
no.
mascot out of that freakishly looking scary thing that comes out of a swamp.
Retro Tinker is correct. Apple Man. Anyway, there we are. I just thought I'd give you a quick run through on the Bunyip.
There we go. So what I've done for my small portion of the show tonight is I asked everybody for their favorite cryptid.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go through the room's favorite cryptids and why they're our favorite cryptids. And I put a couple honorable mentions in there at the beginning just to kind of get the feel for what's going on. So this guy actually counts as a cryptid, the jackalope. So I put him on there as the most adorable of the cryptids.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. And so this is actually an example of something that was mythological, but then has hence been just like accepted as like, nah, some guys just glued some antlers on a rabbit and put it in a
Oh, I thought it was a disease where they got hard knobbly things on the top of their head.
Yeah. So this is what 100% defunct cryptid. And I think, the thing with cryptids, it's always, is it real or not? And there's that question in your head, right? So with the jackalope, it counts, and but it's been defunct. And then another honorable mention here is the
chupacabra.
Right? And so that was like, they were rumored in the Americas in the 1920s when they started coming out. But
Actually,
there was go ahead, guys.
Go ahead. I was going to say, actually, I think it was outside of Dallas, there was a hospital that has a video footage of a supposed chupacabra walking along the fence. Yeah.
And so in 1995, because of videos like that, there was actually a panic in Mexico and America, all those border towns, of like a chupacabra panic. And to the point now where people from that region, if you listen, so I was recently listening to a Chris Jericho podcast, and Gold Dust was on there, Dustin Runnels.
Right.
And in passing, he was like, yeah, and then we like went, and there was like a chupacabra in the yard, so we shot it and got rid of it, and then he just kept telling the story. And Jericho was like, whoa, did you say chupacabra? He's like, yeah, man, like they're all over the place down here. We hear them and see them all the time. It's in certain parts of America, they're not even thought about to be folklore, just a thing.
Yeah.
And so what the footage is, and so this is something where a myth has kind of been adopted by a thing, is there's a strain of mange that coyotes get certain coyotes have an autoimmune disease, and they can't defect this certain virus. So they get a virus of mange, and it kind of deforms them like this, and they get kind of more feral and more bold because they're always malnourished. So they're always looking and hunting. So what was maybe the origin of it has now just become, those are chupacabras, is the mangy coyotes. So it's kind of like it's gone full circle. So they do. We've proven they do exist, kind of.
Right.
Maybe sort of. Right.
And then my runner-up, not my favorite one, but my runner-up for the cryptids is the Jersey Devil.
Ooh.
Right. And so this is one that is it's very localized. Like it's to a very, everybody's just, they're getting so scared, guys, they're leaving the stream.
Yeah, I remember Zazel's reaction when we told him about all the myths within the U.S. I mean, just if you just go down the East Coast, right? You have Bigfoot in the northern part. You have the Champ from Lake Champlain in New York, which is kind of like a Nessie. Then you get down to Jersey, you got the Jersey Devil. You go to Pennsylvania, you have Mothman. I just found out from you, Airy Man, in one of the Carolinas. Then you have the Boggy Creek Monster, which I think is in either Alabama or Georgia. And then you have the skunk ape in like Florida. I mean, all this
the skunk ape.
Yeah, it's a Bigfoot down there. Yeah.
Oh,
It lives in the swamps. It's supposedly a little shorter, and they call it a skunk ape because it smells kind of like a skunk. I don't.
So the Jersey Devil to me is unique because it has like a very distinct origin story. It's not like these creatures might exist. It's like this is the story goes that there was a mother who had 12 kids, and then she got pregnant again, and in passing she cursed her baby. She's like, another baby, curse this child. And then when it was born, because it was cursed, it was the Jersey Devil. It ran into the forest and it's been haunting the forest ever since. That's the myth of the Jersey Devil. So that's an example of like a very specific, not a creature, a species, but an actual one specific kind of monster that lives out there.
They still think it's there.
Yeah, and so you can see, if you go on YouTube, there's all kinds of videos of guys in Jersey that go devil hunting. They're like, we're gonna go find it tonight. We're gonna go find it. And they never find it, but they always freak themselves out. They're like, we're gonna get out of here. There
was a report of a mother and a son that supposedly were in their backyard at night. It was kind of it was in the wintertime, and something swooped down out of the trees, massive in size, and tried to steal the little boy, and then landed on the roof. And then there was tracks on the roof, and they called the police. The police showed up, and they're like, "You guys are crazy, right?" And they looked on the roof, and they saw the tracks on the roof, and they're like, "Oh." And then when they described it, they were like describing like these glowing eyes, massive wings. So they thought maybe it was an owl, but like there's like a zoologist is like, there's no owl that big.
Right.
Hey, Brendan Haley, watching from the gym. Greetings all at the gym. I wanted to let you know you're on my workout track. All right.
Oh, sweet. Two more reps. Buddy. Keep it going. Feel the burn.
Yes, go.
Left foot, right foot. Pericles is saying, I don't know if there's a bar for what makes a good or bad parent, but if you curse your child and it transforms into a monster, you're effed up. Do we have anything like the Jersey Devil in Australia? We've got the Tasmanian Devil, and that's bad enough.
Well, according to we'll get to that. Keep going.
Right, and then a really neat one to me, a good example. This is the Mothman that Gazz was talking about.
Yeah,
right, West Virginia, and just like a number of very similar reports from December 1966 to November 1967. Like it seemed like there was this like time where it was just like cars were getting attacked, and like we don't know what exactly it was, but it was just like a number of consistent reports in an era when like social media wasn't a thing and consistent reports maybe were harder to get, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The picture is horrifying.
Oh, you should see some of the other ones. Woo.
Yeah. No, it's out there. Mothman does have wings, hence the moth.
He does.
Otherwise, he's just a man, and we had 5 of those guys right here.
The Man prophecy is a much different movie.
But we're now going to head into our favorite cryptids. All right. Our favorite. So first up, and it's epic, is the Sasquatch Bigfoot, and this was Gazz and Crash shared this one, right?
Yeah, right. Crash.
Right, and so there had been lots of sightings from like the late 1800s of like a missing link, they called it for a while.
Right.
And then it got the moniker of Bigfoot in 1952 when they found footprints at a work site. Now, it was later on discovered that it was one of the workmen had carved big footprints out of wood and was using them to scare local teenagers off, because teenagers would come and like mess with the work site. So they did it to scare people off. But so the Sasquatch adopted the nickname of Bigfoot. But then in 1963, the famous footage got in California got filmed.
It's the Patterson Gimlin.
The Patterson Gimlin.
Have you guys seen like the footage where I've seen some video of it where they correct it and sharpen up the image and all of that sort of stuff and make it clear as day. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I 100% believe that this is a real Sasquatch found. Not found. Found him.
They went into detail into that footage, broke it down, computer, all the stuff, sizing up everything. They even found out that supposedly is a female Sasquatch.
Yes, yes, and they even go as far as to measure the size of it based on the surrounding area and all they clear up. They've even been as far as about to clear up specific rocks and branches and so forth, like really clear it up. Modern technology is fantastic in some ways, but even without the clearing of the footage, I still 100% believed and still do to this day that this is a real Sasquatch.
So there's a documentary, I think it's on YouTube, and I know it's on Tubi, where a bunch of filmmakers try and replicate this footage.
Right.
And then nobody can do it.
Is that Finding Bigfoot? I think that's a documentary.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah. But there's like 4 or 5 guys try and
you also have to remember that like people trying now with what we have today, this was done in I think 57, between 57 and 63.
Yeah,
this footage was shot, right? So I mean, if you look at, I don't know, part of me I want to believe, I really want to believe,
right?
Yeah.
But part of me sees the skepticism in that. You know, part of me thinks it looks good, but look at I got to think about when they set the camera up, because you got to remember they're walking our cameras and they're setting them up. Oh, actually, no, there was an 8mm, right?
Yeah,
an 8mm camera.
Right.
So it's like you got to kind of wonder. These guys set out to find this. This isn't like a chance. You know, they set out to find Bigfoot. They wanted to film it because of the footprints and all that stuff. They wanted to prove. They went out there. I don't know how many times they went out there, but they went out there and they got this footage, the best footage since ever. Like there's been no other footage like this ever. I mean, we've gotten like little glimpses of like something moving through the trees, but like the person sets a camera there for 5 minutes and all of a sudden it shoots by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And we have there's 3D, like not 3D footage. There's like infrared or night vision footage of the skunk ape in Florida. I just witnessed today. Yeah.
You know, they have this disease, certain people, because they call it the Wolfman disease, where they grow hair everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm.
How we know that ain't just some poor bastard out there?
Well, that actually
disease.
some of the sightings after the Civil War of Bigfoot or Bigfoot sightings were actually Confederate soldiers that were hiding in the woods because they were afraid they were going to be thrown in prison for the war, and they would just hair and beards and stuff and free people out when they saw them.
I'm just saying that disease has been around for forever. You know, you can go back to like the old freak shows and stuff like that, and they'll have the dog boy, and it'd be probably a 27-year-old guy just covered from head to toe in hair.
Hmm.
I think the proportions of the body would dictate that it's not just a regular human being. So I will be upfront and say that ever since I was a kid, I was a believer of this stuff. Right? I would believe first and then ask questions later. Right? I'd be like, oh wow, Sasquatch is real. That's cool. And then I'd do some research, and nothing ever convinced me it wasn't. I'm still stuck on the belief that Sasquatch is absolutely real. I think this footage is so good. They haven't been, like Adam said, they haven't been able to replicate it, right? And that should be the easiest thing to do, right? It's a man in a monkey suit, replicate it. Shouldn't be that hard. They can't do it.
You can see the muscle tone in the arm and the legs and on the back as it's walking. That's the part of me that's like, that looks real to me. You know, it's so hard.
I believe it's real, but I'm just saying, you know, there's a logical explanation on some of the stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah. So I believe that if it isn't a Bigfoot, then Crash, you're probably right in that it is a deformed human being that also has that werewolf disease, whatever that was called.
Well, look at Andre the Giant. Look how he was shaped in his later years.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm going to say this. I'm not saying that this footage is of a Sasquatch, but I am saying that in my mind this footage is real.
I'm
Right.
saying it's a Sasquatch.
You guys,
I'm saying
y'all
Sasquatch.
know-
I wanted to be a Sasquatch really bad.
It is a Sasquatch.
It's sassy Sasquatch. Sorry, what's that, Hans?
No, y'all know about Port Chatham in Alaska, right?
Um,
It's an abandoned town. It was abandoned because they were assailed by a tribe of big feet for
Oh,
is
about
that
the
4
killer-
months that
the-
killed like 36 people.
yeah, that's the killer Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yeah. Until eventually all that was left in the town was like the mailman. He was the last person to leave because
Yeah.
nothing stops the mail.
Right.
I
He
100%.
did it. He's like, no, that wasn't me. It was the Sasquatches.
Sasquatch did it.
Well, that's the only problem, right? Is that the rest of the town all saw the Sasquatches.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
bunch of them. It wasn't just one or two, and they were extremely violent and mean. So, dude,
Well, you look at gorillas, right? Gorillas, chimps, all of the great apes, right? None of them, if you went out looking for chimps or you went out looking for gorillas, right? If you went out looking for them and they didn't want to be seen, then you wouldn't see any, right? They are that good at hiding, and there's a lot less now than there used to be, but if they don't want to be seen, you're never going to see them. The only reason why we've got any footage of any of this stuff is because they come out and see us. There's the difference, right? And in this case, I think that. Well, how are you, Aaron?
I can't argue with that logic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if there is many big feet or Bigfoots or however you want to say it, many Sasquatch, if there's many of them, which I don't know that there would be, but if there were, we wouldn't know about it unless they wanted us to. Like there are plenty of snakes in Australia, many snakes in Australia. Do you know how many snakes I've seen in my life? One. I've seen one snake.
and it was human. Anyway,
No, yeah, and it was human, and it was in a snake suit, and it was walking away from camera.
Was it a sleep stack?
yeah.
Zach, now we're talking.
Yeah, I am passionate. I'm passionate about Sasquatch. I believe that's right. I loved Harry and the Hendersons too, by the way. It's such a great movie.
Well, you do know there was an attack in the 70s with Sasquatch, don't you?
There's a what? Sorry.
There's a it's on film, everything. There's a Sasquatch attack in the 70s.
Isn't that the Boggy Creek monster?
No,
that's
it was
the movie.
when he attacked this military man out there in the woods named Steve
really?
Austin.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
Amazing.
But that
He
one turned
attacked
out to be an alien cyborg.
Yeah. Which wasn't as compelling. Just let it be really the Sasquatch. Just
Yeah,
let
let
it
it be
be really the Sasquatch. Right. So anyways, that was the favorite cryptid of Gazz and Crash. And I think it's maybe the most beloved cryptid out there. Like I think like if
Well,
you
look at
said
all the. Sorry. Well, like I said, look at all the lore and all the movies and memorabilia that's been made of Sasquatch over the past 30 years. That's a lot.
oh yeah.
Look at that.
Well, before we move on from Sasquatch and Bigfoot, I do want to ask reigning hide and seek champion. I do want to ask both Gazz and Crash why the Sasquatch is your favorite of the cryptids, and Gazz. We'll go with Crash first because Gazz, I know that you have a side favorite that leans into the Sasquatch. But Crash, why is it your favorite?
Well, as a kid, I watch Harry and the Henderson. I'm like, well, that guy's pretty cool. And as I've gotten older, I like a lot of the horror movies and kind of looking through these people actually going in the woods with the cameras, the heat sensors, everything. And like, I watched many hours of that. So I was like, well, from all the photos and videos, I do believe it was alive at one time. He or she or it was alive at one time for sure. It's the same thing with a lot of the other cryptids like Nessie and all that. I believe at one time it had to be real. It had to be real, at least at once.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feelings on those. It had to be
Fair
real
enough.
at least one time. And the world history of anyone that's seen it, it had to be real at least once.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Crash. Gaz, you have a favorite that's a side, a step side or a companion to Sasquatch.
Well, that's the abominable snowman.
Yeti?
I mean, you can love Bigfoot, you gotta love the Yeti. And
I've
to
met
me-
in my lifetime 3 different people who are like, Yeti, that is nonsense. Don't be crazy. Like, what about Sasquatch? Oh yes, Sasquatch exists 100%.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, I've been a fan of Bigfoot since I was like knee high. My grandpa used to take us to New Hampshire, Vermont to go exploring and stuff in the summertime for like a week. And he and my older cousin scared the crap out of me by saying that Bigfoot takes little German boys if they're bad. ever since, I'm always like looking over my shoulder when I'm in the woods. I hear a snap of a branch. I'm like, Sasquatch. It's here.
That's where World War II went wrong. They should have led with the Sasquatch army.
But no, I think they're out there. I think there's so much vast forest. In North America, there's so much forest that's not even like inhabited. People just, they don't even live there, especially in the Rocky Mountain. You go into Canada, there's a lot of forest there, and they could hide. I mean, like, weren't there like gorillas in a mountain area in Africa that nobody knew they were there until somebody discovered them?
It was like 10 years ago we discovered a tribe of people like in the Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, it could be possible that these things are out there if they're intelligent and and they don't want to be found. And then spottings. I mean, if you there's a I forget, I don't have the website, but there's a website where you can see all the spottings of Bigfoot across the country in North America, everywhere. I think the majority of it is all in the Northwest. See, like Washington, Oregon, California. But I mean, it's spattered about like the rest of the country, Ohio, Illinois, all those states, New York, Massachusetts, all of like New Hampshire, Vermont, and into Canada. You have all these sightings, and people are seeing stuff. Whether they're seeing bears, I mean, everybody knows a bear can get up on its hind legs, and it's pretty tall, but it can't stride like that, like this video, right? It kind of waddles, right? Because its legs are short.
Yeah. And his legs are in front of me. It doesn't have like a human side arms.
Yeah. So I mean, and they don't walk upright and in a long pattern. They just upright and then they get down and they start walking.
Have you guys seen the footage of that zoo from Florida, where it's their gorillas are in this or chimpanzees are in this like enclosure, and there's this chimpanzee in the background that walks just like a human.
Yeah.
And, like, stops, looks at the camera, and then hunches back down.
Yeah.
Well,
I did see that.
Just found out they discovered skeletal remains of a gorilla or an ape creature that was about like 9 feet tall, 10 feet tall, massive skull and body, and it walked upright. So I mean, that could be what Bigfoot is,
right?
So, right? Gazz, you say that you're skeptical about this footage because they went out to find Bigfoot and then they found Bigfoot, right? And in my mind, I'm like, well, how often do you see people with shaky cam footage going, I didn't know I was going to see a UFO, or I didn't know I was going to see a chupacabra, but I caught one on tape. And it's like they don't look nearly as believable as this footage. If you're going out to find one and then you find one, well, that's just mission success in my book. And I think that they tried to set up the camera 2 times. The fact that they were able to get the back end of this footage, I mean, if you're going out to look for something and you find something, it doesn't automatically, in my mind, make it not real.
I'm not saying that it's fake. I'm just a little skeptical because of the fact that they went out to set out. Usually when you set out to find something, especially something like this, you don't usually find it. I mean, how many times have they gone to look for Nessie and never found anything? And then like the next day, somebody's got like a video of something going across the water. It's like, I
hear what you're saying. But if that were the case, then why bother looking at all then? Like if you're going to find it, you're looking for it and you're going to find it and you're going to film it. At least in my mind, right? Even if this is fake, then it's the best fake ever made, right? Yeah. But if we want this stuff I think everyone here wants this stuff to be real because it's so fantastical, so crazy, so exciting. Sometimes the real world can seem a little bit dull and boring, and we want this stuff to be real. But I feel like if you go out there and you see so many TV shows like Finding Bigfoot, at the end of the show, they never find it, and yet they've got how many episodes, right? But
Yeah.
Adam, in the comments, someone asked if we ended up looking for or finding Bigfoot, and each of us independently were able to find on our way to Joe Fest a Sasquatch. Mine was a cutout in the middle of a field of this exact pose. We were going by so fast that I couldn't get any footage of it. But I don't think Gazz would have believed it if I did.
No, come on, I would have believed it. I'm just saying the likelihood of filming this is like 1,000,000 to 1.
Right, and they
How
did
are
it.
you, Impossible Pie?
And they did it. But that's the only bit of skepticism I have about the footage. Everything else about the footage is I think is 100% real.
Well, someone tried to claim that they did make the suit and that they did create this fake footage, but when they tried to recreate that, they couldn't do that either.
Yeah, not in the late 50s, early 60s. There's no way they did that. I mean, we all seen Planet of the Apes.
I love Planet of the Apes.
I love it too, but
Come on, yeah, it's
come on.
All right, so moving on from Gazz and Crash's favorite cryptid, we're gonna go over here.
Oh yeah,
Right. So this is Zazel's favorite of the cryptids is Nessie.
yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the Loch Ness Monster. So I know that this footage has since come out as being faked. It was a submarine or some shit. And but as a child, I was a big fan of dinosaurs. And I was always under the impression that the Loch Ness Monster was a ancient plesiosaur or something that was trapped in Loch Ness somehow, and it was an absolute real dinosaur that lived there. I was enamored by the Loch Ness Monster. I went to the library at school and I got every book I could on mythological creatures and Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, and all of those sort of things. And there was something about and things that are creepy, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that the Loch Ness Monster would be creepy, but what makes things creepier, in my opinion, is when they're also underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Anything, if you're looking for something in the woods, that's creepy, but that's still kind of your element, right? But if you're looking for the Loch Ness Monster, you've got to go into the water, into the depth of the ocean or in the depth of the lake. I would argue that that's even more creepier and even more into the unknown. This is fake? No way. Well, I reckon that it probably is real, and that they were trying to protect the Nessie creature by saying that they later faked it so that people stopped looking for it.
The legend of this goes back even further.
Oh, of course, yes, of course, yes.
Further.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was a priest. I want to say priest, a cardinal that went up there and he blessed the lake to supposedly hide the evil, which was supposed to be Nessie.
Well, they come out with people fudge this stuff and they fake this stuff and they come up with photos and doctored video and stuff like that because it's come from somewhere before. Right. Mm-hmm. So, whether this is faked or not is irrelevant because there were many sightings and many stories to do with the Loch Ness Monster well before this. Mm-hmm. But am I the only one that believes that the Loch Ness Monster is a real creature?
Never in my childhood did I want something to be more real than the Loch Ness Monster. Like I love the idea of it. I remember the first time I saw this picture in like one of those books that you got from Time Life where it's like the unsolved mysteries of the world. I remember seeing this picture and being like, oh, it's real. It's got to be real. Look at this picture. Like clearly it's real. Like, there's no question. It's got to be. But as far as its ability to hide, like so Gazz is saying like Sasquatch hiding in the forests of, America and Canada seems vast and endless. Loch Ness seems to be like a certain body of water that if they wanted to, they could search it. You know what I mean? Well,
I mean, it's like something like 800 feet deep. They believe there are caverns that go into the mountains that connect to the sea, the ocean. Yeah. So they think that it goes out into the ocean and then comes back. I mean, it's
Yeah,
possible.
so-
It's possible.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I really want it to be. I wanna go there and meet her. Hey Nessie, how's it going?
I would love to go there.
How you doing? So I think this one is a little bit harder for believability's sake. As time goes by, you would think that there would be more confirmed sightings. If there's a dolphin stuck in the estuary, you see it, right? Eventually, you see it.
True. Yeah, it's true.
So this one's a little bit harder.
Guys,
to-
hold on a second. I just wanted to go back. I found the sighting here has happened of a toy bit.
Whoa, hang on, solo layout. Whoop.
Sasquatch. Look, there
Found
it is.
him. Found him. That's a crossover between the Toy Biz show and the shoot the shit with Gazz. Look at that. He's just
I remember
that's
when
a hell
these
of a-
came out. I
That's
love
a hell of a
these.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, he is real. He is real.
That's why I can't find him. He's on a team.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one.
Oh, there's another Sasquatch. They're everywhere.
Meanwhile, me and Crash are just as close. Oh, sorry. I hit the wrong button.
But I mean, for underwater, I mean, I just watched one on something that ate a great white off the coast of Australia in like the early 2000s, and they had a tracker on it, and the tracker was going at like deep levels of the ocean at like 97 degrees. So it was in something's stomach, and they were thinking it was I forget the name of the dinosaur, and one that was in Jurassic Park, the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name of that.
Yeah, I believe
Told
he's
me
from
I
the
was
late Cretaceous period.
Yeah. But they were thinking it's one of those, and I mean, it could be possible, right? Because things that they found that ancient Jurassic era fish that they thought was extinct just within the last 20 years, and they
Even
just
in
found
the
a
last
species.
15 in the last 15 or so years, like the giant squid has been found,
Yeah.
right? Like that's
Yeah.
like confirmed.
That was the Kraken. For
Yeah.
Christ's sake. Yeah, there we go.
The deeper you go, there's no telling what's actually down at the bottom.
We haven't even nearly explored the ocean depths at all.
Oh yeah,
Very-
and that adds the creepy element,
Yeah.
right? Because
Right?
we don't know what's out there. We don't know what's out in space either. But that's out there somewhere. That's Spacey's problem. But the ocean, we don't know what's in there. And I've seen videos of amusement park animatronics that are out of commission, and then people go under the water to look at them and how creepy they look. And those are inanimate objects that are creepy. So anything that's living down there is, exponentially more creepy.
Exactly.
And there's a Jaws robot still swimming out at sea. From
That's
Jaws.
crazy. That's cool.
nuts.
That's so cool. But yeah, Loch Ness Monster, because of my my love for dinosaurs and my want to believe. Right? Yes, thank you.
That's a close number 2 for me, Zaz.
Right? I thought you might like it
Yeah.
because of your love for dinos.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That'd be the one I'd never go look for because I can't stand being on a boat.
Yeah, I'd be up like 24/7 if I was there, just trying to find it. Be up on the highest peak, looking down with binoculars.
Well,
We'll
think
send
about it.
Scuba Pete down there.
Yeah,
Good.
send Scuba Pete in. You see anything yet, Scuba?
You'll be going
Guys, I'm
into
not gonna-
Nessie's
there's so much
turf
water.
to find it. I don't know.
That'll
Go
be
in the
a-
water
it
to
should
find
be
that.
So then moving on now to Hans Chow and his favorite cryptid of all time is the Wendigo, which again is a Canadian American one. So Hans, walk us through the Wendigo and your love for it and what's going on here.
That's a good one.
I'm always a big fan of like Native American anything. I find that the first peoples had a fantastic way of looking at the way the world formed and attaching their own mysticism and spirituality to it. So the Wendigo is an evil spirit with no body that roams the land, and whenever someone is driven to great depths of evil. Traditionally, it would be considered in their culture some form of cannibalism, like they were stuck out in the wastes and they were forced to consume human flesh. That would they would be possessed by the spirit of this Wendigo that would do two things to them. It would make them eternally hungry and also immortal. It's kind of like a payment for consuming human flesh. They would get very thin. They would get very emaciated. They would walk on all fours. They were capable of jumping very high. Their skin would become hard. And more than that, as I said, their hunger would be eternal. And it was to make sure that the Native Americans and the First Peoples across Canada and the US stayed civil, so to speak. The Wendigo, I like it so much because it represents kind of humanity. And it's more than the other things. To me, it's real even now. We probably have Wendigos walking amongst us, people who can't stop consuming, people who don't see the limitations of their own greed and guilt. And they may wear suits or they may not wear suits. They may be next door neighbors and whatnot, but they are around all now. But the reality also is that the number of sightings for the Wendigo has increased over time. And because they can disguise their aberration by simply they probably exist and walk even now in some of the First Peoples settlements throughout North America, which means more than likely, like if you live close enough, they're probably there too. And I like that.
He likes.
Plus, he can take on the Hulk and Wolverine, so that's pretty tough too.
I'm generally scared. You know.
Well, they are terrifying. They are terrifying because it's not like you have to be bitten by a wolf to become a werewolf or a vampire, or it's not like unfeelable or unknowable like a Sasquatch. Each of us has been possessed by a sense of greed or hunger at least once, and at that time when we gave in, we were in danger of potentially allowing that spirit into us.
Are they tied in with the skinwalkers? Because that's another legend that the Native American or indigenous tribes have.
So the skinwalkers are medicine men of the First People who chose to commune with darker spirits. So traditionally the medicine men would commune to help the tribe, but these guys communed with spirits in order to gain power. So the power they usually would gain was longevity and vitality. They would live a long time, but they could also change shape. But it meant that two things. Number one, they would never be able to reproduce. And number two, they would always be forced in this kind of selfish existence. I have a lot of friends in the United States Marines and Rangers, specifically almost Rangers, who have a ridiculous number of stories about meeting skinwalkers out in the wild. They're all over the place. And they usually don't mess with soldiers or anything. I don't know if it's because they can actually be harmed by weapons, but they're always looking at them. There's a lot, and they jump and they like to climb trees as well. So they usually, what they do is because they're so thin, they hang on to trees. They look like tree branches. And until they open their eyes, they sometimes catch a glint of the moonlight. Some of my ranger buddies have seen them, and they say they don't sleep well after.
See.
I don't think Crash is going to sleep well after this.
I'm not going to sleep well.
Yeah, I'm going to have nightmares.
These lights are staying on tonight.
I don't sleep anyway, guys. What are you talking about?
No, there's some. I saw footage from. I forget what the creature's called. It's in the Philippines. It's a legend in the Philippines, and it's like these creatures. I want to say like they're kind of like skinwalkers, right? They look like normal people, but at night they morph. They can morph like this, and the footage is this like CCTV camera footage of this woman just like watering her plants or doing something with like her plants, and this woman just creepily walks up behind her.
The aswan.
And then she, what's it called?
The aswan.
Yes, that's it. And then she walks by her like slowly, and the woman kind of like looks at her. That's like working, and then as she walks off camera, all of a sudden she comes back and she's like on all fours.
Yeah,
she's coming back at her, and she stands up and she throws water at her, and it like backs off and runs away. It's like the creepiest. It's the creepiest. If I could, I'll find it because I saw it on YouTube.
Send it to. I want to see
it. It is crazy. I mean, you can see her, but she's like she's kind of obstructed by like there's something in the camera's way, but you can see her on all fours, and you can see like the woman is terrified.
Yeah, right.
And
If we can find it, you can find it, Gaz. We'll show it. Play it on your phone.
Yeah.
I love.
No, go ahead.
So I always found that there's always, so in our country we have an equivalent of the Wendigo called the Sukuya, right? But it doesn't appear as a creature like that. It's usually an old woman living in the village who is kind of just generally mean, and on the night she would shed her skin and go and drink the blood of children, right? But she wouldn't kill them. She would just drain a bit of the blood out and make them sick. And the way to defeat her is the same way, funny enough, you defeat most vampires, is you sprinkle salt around their homes, or you sprinkle rice around their homes, and they must count these things. But throughout every country, there's always these kind of evil spirit sort of things, and there's so many people who swear on their very soul that they have seen these things. I mean, I to myself, thank God I've never seen them. I mean, I walk around with enough protection on me, but I mean, as I said, not everyone can be wrong, right? It's
right.
For that many people to be hallucinating the same thing.
I mean, people are seeing stuff out there, whether it's Bigfoot, Nessie, Wendigos, or that thing in the Philippines. They're seeing something there, and they're generally terrified to see what they see. I mean, you have people that go out looking for Bigfoot, and then they come across Bigfoot, and they won't tell you the story because they're generally scared.
Yeah.
They don't want to say anything because they're terrified. It's like, what are you terrified for? You wanted to find this thing. You saw it. Now you don't want to talk about it. But it's just, I can't imagine. I mean, that's terrifying. You think about it.
There's always the fear of ridicule, right? I mean,
that too. Yeah,
we live in a very skeptical age. You know, people don't want to believe in things. They think that it's childish, but the reality is within our very own spirits, we understand that these things are probably real. You know, and even if they may not be around us right now, at one time, mankind's genetic memory is long and very good. Dragons, all those things, those were real. Knights fought those things. They lost, they died. You know, it's just the way things were, man.
Well, the fact that there are so many different, as far as dragons are concerned, Hans, there are so many different stories of dragons across different nations and countries and everything. It's like, well, how can they all have a similar creature if they went around in some form or fashion?
Exactly.
Well, exactly. Bigfoot alone around the world.
Right.
I mean, you have I think the wild man in Europe, the Yowie in Australia, the Yeti in Asia. It's like there's so many. They're seen everywhere.
So I was dying to say this while y'all were talking about the Sasquatch, but I stayed quiet. But in the Himalayas, the name of the Sasquatch there is the Migo, right? He's not the Yeti, he's the Migo. And H.P. Lovecraft wrote stories about them. He's actually different than the Sasquatch, because the Sasquatch is something that's actually terrestrial, but the Migo is actually something that came from the space, right?
Hey, Cindy.
Which is why there are so many of them as versus so few. There is, for all of us who remember, search your memories and remember an old show called Johnny Quest.
Oh, yes.
Where there was the episode about the Migo. That show, whoever wrote Johnny Quest, the first series, that guy needs an award. There's
a lot of that stuff in that, and it's beautiful to see that.
So here's a good question. A Cutthroat comic saying, do you think creatures were left off from the Bible times when humans were having relations with the angels from the heavens and they became half-breeds? Well, what about, I'll go as far as to say, what about other creatures? Like there were giants, right, in the Bible.
Well, yeah, there's an interesting story that they're trying to say that, was it David Goliath, right? That Goliath was actually a Sasquatch.
Son of a Nephilim.
Or something like that. That's one of the stories. I've been watching a lot. I watch a lot of this stuff. On the History Channel has a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of this. It's addictive.
Because it's fun. Because it's because we want to believe these things. Yeah, they are what make up.
But I think it's different than wanting to believe, I think something that's unknown is always more interesting than something that's known.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right? Like every documentary ever about the Sasquatch, if they found it, like if they found the Sasquatch, whoever's going to make this documentary, it would be on the real news, right? Like,
Right.
like
Right.
ABC would be like,
That's very
Yeah.
true.
every time you go to watch a Sasquatch documentary, you're like, I know they're not going to find it in this documentary,
Because
Yeah.
but I'm going to watch it anyways because this is so fascinating because it's unknown.
Well, it's also the stories that you hear
Yeah.
the witnesses say, and it's like from the wood knocking to the weird sounds, and then and here's the skeptic comes in. I was watching one today, and they were playing these tapes of these weird sounds that they heard, supposedly Sasquatch, and I'm like, you
Right.
listen to it, and it could be a Sasquatch, or it could be some guy just making some weird noise.
Right.
And I mean, like, there's a difference between hearing a yowl or a howl in the
Right.
distance. It's also, and one thing is when you hear that, and then all of a sudden you hear distinctive sounds that sound like a guy just going blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's also that thing where we're always seeking out more. We're never really truly content with what we got, right?
That's
We're always
true, yeah.
seeking out more. Like Adam mentioned the fact that not that long ago we found a new tribe of people. But what do you hear about it these days? Not a lot. Why? Because we found them. They're not that interesting anymore. Right? Move on.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that would be the case if we found any of this stuff too.
In-
Right?
Okay.
If we found
It was very funny. So I've watched a documentary about this lost tribe, and so the first half of the documentary is when they go on this river and they find them for the first time, and they see them, and they're essentially naked. They've got some kind of like loin coverings. They got
Right.
red mud on them and paint, and they're very tribal. And so they're found, and they try to do communication, and it's this whole thing. And then so they like meet them, and then the second half of the documentary is when they go back and see them like a year later. And a year later, they're all wearing like old Mickey Mouse T-shirts and stuff, and they've been
Well, that's like that tribe that's off the coast of India. It's an island, a bunch of cannibals. They won't even allow anybody to anybody to go on the island. Like if they try to go on there, they're throwing fucking spears at them and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
They're
And
smart.
like the government won't allow anybody to go there.
I'm
Since-
gonna go like a step further of what Adam said. Like, so you look at the show and they say you're not gonna find them. I think that every single one of those expeditions found them, but every single one of those expeditions have a heart, and they know that if they put this out there, whatever they
That's
found
true.
is gonna end up strapped to a table or in a zoo.
Right.
So they
That's
Nah,
true,
yeah.
too.
There was one that I watched. The one I was watching today. They were talking about if they did discover like Bigfoot, then you'd have a bunch of people out there hunting them down because it'd have to like, depending on what state you're in, it would become that game and wildlife government group be responsible for protecting them because it would fall under them, right? And then,
yeah, and on top of that, Gaz, I've heard that they've kept it hush hush because they won't be able to go and log in there anymore. They won't be able to pull down the trees to go logging because then all of a sudden it's a protected area.
That's true. Yeah. So I mean, there could be like a war between loggers and Sasquatch for all we know.
I mean,
Right.
Every single time, look at Roswell. They actually got legitimate aliens there, and they treated those aliens real mean, man. So I mean, just
I think from the legend, from the way that the story was told, one survived the crash. It was like 3 of them.
yeah.
2 died. 1 was survived, and then they moved them to some
Area
Air Force
51.
base in Ohio. No, they didn't go there. They didn't go there. They went to Ohio. They moved everything there. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true.
What's in Ohio?
I know it's some military base.
How are you, Joe? The Lost Chronicles, great channel if you want to check that out. Gaz, I know that you would love this channel. Lots of cryptids here, skinwalkers, Capuchura. Look at me, I can't even say it. Chupacabra, Bigfoots, UFOs in Arizona. But yeah, Jojo the Lost Chronicles is great for that good old fashioned
check that out.
classic
We'll check that out.
adventure. Check it
I
out
did
one
find
time.
that video if you guys want to see it.
Yes, absolutely. Let me solo you. Whoop.
Make sure I can get it on there right. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
This is shoot the shit technology right here.
Whoop.
Oh, wait. Oh,
Yep.
there we go. The plane? No.
Ooh, it doesn't want to be seen.
So watch now. Watch. She's gonna come on the screen right there. See her?
Yeah.
See how she like creepily walks just up to her?
Yes.
Now watch.
What the?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
The fuck?
And she's scared, and then she runs off.
What the?
Yeah, isn't that
What
weird?
the-
Yeah,
What
That's
the heck
weird.
is she on?
yeah. Well, that's this legend of this critter, that this creature there. Everybody.
This critter, this little critter.
Yeah, and it's weird. If anybody wants to see the video, it's part of like a top 7. The proof is out there. Truth or legend. Top 7 terrifying myths on the History Channel on YouTube. So it's a pretty good channel. They really take a look at it like the kind of way I kind of look at it. I have a bit of skepticism until I kind of try to figure things out. And if I can't figure out, then it's got to be whatever it is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet. So
that was crazy.
It was
my
really creepy, right?
favorite cryptid, to move on a little bit, I wasn't even aware existed. So last year, when we were going to Joe Fest, my wife and I were driving through the States and just meandering through the States. We just took our time. And so we wanted to go see the sights and whatever. And so we were going through West Virginia, and you're looking, Googling what to go see. And they said there was this Flatwoods Monster Museum. I said, let's go see the Monster Museum, because it's Sasquatch country down there.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be all about different monsters. But no, it was about one specific, the Flatwood Monster, or Braxy, as it's been called.
What?
What is that?
Oh, yeah, I know this dude.
So you go. So the story is in 1952 that 2 brothers were out playing and at night, and they saw this creature out in the woods, and they ran home to get their mom and brought their mom out there, and she saw this creature out in the woods. And so then they ran back, they called the authorities. The authorities came out, and they found indentations in the ground and a gooey substance on the ground, which was like a telltale sign of apparently like spaceship landings. That was supposed to be like a telltale sign of that. And so then it was gone. And then like the Men in Black came out and interviewed her, the mother,
Right.
a few times. And so there's footage of that, or like records of that. So it's a story. But what the creepy part for me was, we drove into Flatwoods, and it was like we were watching an episode of The X-Files. Like the town seems out of time. Like when you go to Flatwoods, West Virginia, it seems like everything stopped there in 1968. Like the buildings, the people, like the architecture, the cars. Like it just seems like this out of time situation. And so we're like, let's go find this monster museum. But it's not the Monster Museum, it's City Hall. Like it's like the City Hall. You go there, and it's all this, like images of this character all along the walls and whatnot. What you got there, Gazz?
Human can, so you can't even see it, it's too dark. Hold on here. No, that doesn't help. It's got a size comparison of a man standing next to it.
He's about 10 feet tall, right?
Yeah, it's about 10 feet tall. That's insane.
Yeah. And so you go in there, and there's this old creepy furniture in the middle of the room, and all this like Flatwood Monsters memorabilia around. And then there's a curtain that says employees only. And there's a bell, and it's like, ring the bell for assistance. So we're like, bing, ring the bell. And this little old guy comes out, and he's like, welcome to Flatwoods. We'd like to know about the monster. And he tells us this story, and he tells us like all this stuff. And it was like this really creepy experience. And he goes, would you like to see the letter? And I was like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I said, yes. Just when someone asks you if you want to see a letter, you say yes, Ray.
Yes.
Yes.
He cracks out this, like, it's in like a glass case, and it's the letter that the mother wrote to the FBI after she was visited by the Men in Black. And so it tells the story about they went and saw this thing and whatever it was. And at the end of the letter, it says, and this is my favorite part, she says, I know I'm not a learned woman, or what many people would consider smart, but I'm at least medium smart, and I know what I saw.
I'm medium smart.
I'm at least medium smart, and I know
That's
what
amazing.
I saw.
That's an alien.
Yeah, and so
That's an alien.
this character is huge in Japan. Japanese love this character.
Really?
Yeah, and so they make lanterns for them. And actually, if you go through Flatwoods and the rest in West Virginia, there's big chairs made to look like this thing.
Yeah, I
And
saw
if-
one on that site. Yeah.
If you stop and take pictures at all the chairs, you then go to town hall and they give you like a prize.
Huh.
That is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's pretty crazy.
we took some pictures by some of the chairs, my wife and I, on the way to Joe.
I got it right here.
Oh, hang on. Let me solo you. Whoop.
That's crazy. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Whoop.
So there you go. So this, just the bizarreness of this, and then just being in that creepy town. This is my favorite cryptid.
That is cool.
That is
I need to
very
look
cool.
more into that.
That is definitely one that I've never heard of before.
Me
And
either.
I think it looks like a cross between something out of Doctor Who and, as Todd mentioned in the chat, something that looks like it'd be on a chessboard.
And this was in 1954,
absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Got
That's
See
back
if I
in
can
the
find
Unless they were doing one of those cool sci-fi movies from the 50s and they just left it behind.
got that Serpento collar on him.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Into with a dollar.
There's
in a
my
jar.
wife and I on the chair.
Oh, holy crap!
That's
that's
a
huge.
big chair.
That is massive.
That is a
That's awesome.
massive chair.
Oh yeah. Who took the photo?
The monster.
No, I thought so.
So there was only one sighting of this then, just one sighting.
It was just one sighting.
It's amazing that it's that huge and it's only one sighting.
Well, so it was actually 3 sightings in the same night. So the 2 boys,
three?
and then the mom, and then the man who was their neighbor came look as well.
Oh, that's cool. That is
He
really
probably
cool.
got back on his ship and flew back to wherever.
Yeah, he's like,
It
I'm out
looks
of
like
here. This was
Something called spear finger.
Spearfinger. What is Spearfinger?
I think that's
I've
someone's
never heard
favorite.
that either.
I'm gonna
Sounds
look
like
it up right now.
a wrestling finishing maneuver. He hit him with the spear.
Give him the old spear finger.
That's dope. That's cool. Though. I gotta admit, that's some cool
Yo,
looking
Joe.
stuff.
Cindy, there's a Patreon and members exclusive stream right after this one. If you want to tune into
Oh,
that.
Spearfinger is like an old
The lady.
got a
zombie
picture?
looking woman. Yeah.
I'd like to double back to the Sasquatch for just a minute. That's cool.
Okay, let's. Have you got a picture of Spearfinger, Gazz, or no?
Well, I got some images. I don't know which one is the correct one. I'm just gonna do the
real
first
one?
It's like an art. No, it's like an artist. It's like a zombie.
Oh, okay, hang on.
Right there. There we go.
Oh, very
Mm. I don't know if that's what it is, but that's the first image that popped up on there. So it looks like Native American Cherokee legend. Ooh, she's scary looking. Oh, here you go. Here you go.
So, Crash, you were going to say something about Sasquatch?
Yeah, so I was just waiting for guys to finish. Weren't trying to interrupt him. But
That was like a villain from Ben 10.
Yeah.
X-Men villain, actually. All right.
to kind of go back to what Gazz said earlier about about finding different tribes and other stuff. I've been all across the U.S. when the job I used to have. You know how many abandoned towns that's completely abandoned, like they left the vehicles, everything just got them left that I've seen throughout the map.
Yeah.
Like I said, Sasquatch could be hiding out there. It's been abandoned, you know. There's like a lot of that, actually, especially going across West Texas. There's all kinds of towns just abandoned. Big two-story mansions, everything just abandoned.
They did. I think it's in either Northern California or Oregon. They found a network of caves underground that weren't man-made. They think that maybe that Sasquatch lives in caves and all that kind of stuff and moves around. I don't believe that, but there's like a theory that they move like underground.
There's also the theory that that they bury their dead, right? So that's why I haven't found
Yeah.
any remains.
That's
Right.
when it remains.
I
Yeah.
may eat their dead. You never know.
But I mean, a body or an animal body does decompose pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you see a dead anything?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they do. I mean, with all the critters and all that stuff, will feed on every part of the body, all
That's
the way down
right.
to the bones. So, I mean,
I hunt, so
yeah.
that's
Well, I mean,
all the time.
if it's as intelligent as it seems, you know, it's easy to avoid us. We're very noisy when we're walking through the woods.
True.
You know?
Someone's a biologist, anthropologist, right? An anthropologist once, and he said like animals look at us as though we're insane because of the amount of noise that we make now. It's like we stand upright on two legs and we're always making pointless noise. Animals are like, what is this creature?
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, the fact that we're only still finding human tribes, like Adam mentioned before, just goes to show that. And you know, they're like I said with the gorillas and the apes. Like, if they don't want to be seen, they're not going to be seen.
Like the orangutan, right? The orangutan was discovered in 1994, 1995. That's actually what the word orangutan means: men of the forest. Because people thought just humans living in the trees, you know.
I mean, you look at the tiger. Look at the tiger.
Yeah, true.
You know, or the panda itself. I mean, they're you know, very secluded and hidden away. Mm-hmm. I mean, anything's possible. Could be
I was finding aliens to be real crazy because, like, from what Adam said, and then they have the grays, then they have like you know, they have like weird fishy little ones that float, and then they have all these other. It's like, to me, that's terrifying because they they show up, they always grab some people who have no, because if they would have grabbed the president, I mean, we'd believe immediately, but they always grab like people along the side and talk to them and take them across, and then it's like that weird thing where they let them off the ship and they kind of look at them with one last look and they say with like that unspoken word, no one will believe you, and they leave, you know, like
Bill Murray at Wendy's.
Exactly.
I mean, and those guys in general seem a lot more malignant because the reality is we don't know how advanced they actually are or whether we're even getting alien scientists. This could be just aliens who stole their parents' cars and were freaking up around the universe and giving poor humans traumatic experiences.
I was thinking about that. I mean, you all know about the Phoenix lights, right? Back in like 98, you heard about that, right? Where they had the triangle lights over Phoenix. Something that was like a mile wide. This spaceship, and then like I think it was the mayor. This is either the mayor or the governor. I think it was the governor. Pope Funny. He said he was going to investigate it, and then like came out with a press conference later, and he had an alien walk out. We handcuffed, which made it a joke. But now he's part of this group that is trying to get down to the actual bottom of what it was.
Right.
Like a complete 180. But I mean, it's that kind of ridicule that irks me. But you listen to some of these stories, and I mean, like, what 6 out of 10 stories are probably fabricated, exaggerated, and then 4 of them could be there's something to it. You know, are there drones in the sky? I mean, I was watching an F1 race in I was in Dubai or Saudi Arabia, and they had drones up in the sky that looked like an anime image of a racer, just his helmet and a steering wheel, like he's getting ready to go. And those are just drones in the sky, and it was crazy. I thought, oh, maybe they're just adding in with effects on the screen, but it was actually drones. They shot it from different angles. I'm like, that's crazy. But I mean, this is now. They could have done that in the late 90s, I don't think. But I mean, people are seeing stuff. People are seeing stuff in the skies every day, all the time. There's sightings, and people can't explain. And to me, I was just thinking this driving home, right? Because I see, like, you know, a lot of lights in the sky, usually airplanes and stuff. But I mean, you don't think some of these, you know, they would kind of like camouflage their vehicles to look like ours when they're flying with green and blue light flashing lights and all that kind of stuff as well.
Right.
So that that they're flying in plain sight, but nobody realizes at night because it looks like a plane flying or a helicopter.
But what are they studying us for? We're boring compared to them.
You see, you have to realize that, at least to me, there's something exploitable about us. So all these kind of races that have advanced beyond all these whatevers, to look at us developing, it must be fascinating. It's like we look at a colony of ants and it seems to us, but
that's exactly what I think. Yeah.
The other thing also is that there's an exploitable thing about humans, that we tend to reproduce really fast. So I feel to myself, they're just waiting till our technology is at the right level to integrate us into their societies, to be like some kind of weird. Anyway,
There's
I don't
also
want to say
that
this online
time
because
travel.
people are going to be like, Hans is a lunatic. Anyway.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. The perfect example of that is the movie the day the Earth stood still.
Yes. Yes.
And they come down to they send the representative of their civilization to our planet and offer us an ultimatum. It's, you can join us or we're going to destroy you because you're a threat to the universe with your nuclear, because all you do is fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the premise of this story, is like, you got to unite. And I think that's brilliant. I think there could be a race out there that, there could be races of aliens that are like a federation in Star Trek, just waiting to welcome us in and be like, and I can't help but think that once something like that happens, once an alien, once we do find out that they're real, how a lot of our differences will change between ourselves, and we won't look at each other differently.
I reckon the human species is like a deer, right? A deer that gets chased by a wolf, or an antelope that gets chased by a lion, right? In the thick of it, they're in panic mode, and then it seems like this is crazy. This is crazy. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then afterwards, what does the deer or the antelope do? It just goes back to eating grass like nothing ever happened. And I reckon that's what it'd be like. It'd be like all of a sudden, big panic, like, oh my God, there's aliens, whatever. All right. And then afterwards, when it dies down by, we found that now. What's the next thing?
Well, that's what I'm afraid. Like, if they find Bigfoot, it's going to be the same thing. Like, there it is. We'll have it in the zoo. We're good.
Right.
I was thinking, if we discover something like that does have that kind of intelligence, I always feel like there'll be too much, especially if it can communicate. Holy crap, the level of upset that's going to do, because whenever humans make contact with other intelligent species, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if they're like us. I mean, if we look back in Neanderthal man, when they kind of discovered the others that were like them, I mean, we went to war. So let's keep it a secret. No, we don't. Funny enough, we develop best when we're in conflict. That we like to challenge ourselves physically and mentally. Well, we enjoy that.
Look how advanced we've gotten within the last 100 years.
Yeah,
with technology.
We sent a guy to the moon recently. I mean, we're incredible. Pat yourselves on the back. Good job, us. I mean, we didn't do it, but
well said, Hans. Hey, what's our opinion on the Roswell video? Do we think that's real or is that fake?
The Roswell video.
The autopsy. Is that Roswell?
I think that's a fake, 100% fake.
But in 1996, when it came on Fox, boy oh boy, did I watch that thing again and again and again.
Yeah, because we were all in that X-Files mode. We were like, oh, that's real. That's real.
How good was the X-Files?
Oh, I love that show.
I loved X-Files in the first few seasons. I loved that it was more of a like anything can happen sort of show. Yeah. Before it became everything is aliens, right? I like, there was that episode where there was a Bigfoot sightings. There was that episode where that guy had to travel at certain speeds or his head would explode.
Well, how about one of the creepiest, which would fit into our topic tonight, cryptics, is the Tooms character where he eats livers. He comes out every 50 years and eats livers. And he can stretch and fit down things. That's crazy.
That was when X-Files was at its best, where it was.
There was the guy that was in the sewers. He was like a leech guy.
Leech. Oh yeah. Oh,
and they never caught him. And then he would make cameos in Inquirer covers throughout the next season.
I thought they caught him. They trapped him in a.
No, he got out, and then they never caught him. And then he'd be like, crazy. they'd be in the supermarket and you'd see his picture like on the National Enquirer.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
That is great.
that's just feeds into these cryptic creatures that are out there that could be out there. These one-offs, especially now. I mean, you have people out there creating life through science with themselves and all that kind of stuff.
Cloning sheep everywhere.
Don't kid yourself. It's happening. We all know it is. Right?
How long are we going to have to wait for them to bloody clone a woolly mammoth? Just do it already.
Okay, yeah, I want to see one.
You
Bring
know,
the dinosaurs back. Screw
I
it.
know they did that project, right? They found and they integrated it with the elephant, and they're trying to breed it back into existence. And
Yeah.
how arrogant are we that evolution would kill it off? That we're gonna be like, aha, no,
Well,
we're gonna
clearly, we're those scientists aren't watching Jurassic Park because they're talking about doing that with some dinosaurs.
There's
Don't
like
do the
6
dinosaurs.
movies
Don't do
out.
the
That's what I'm
about
saying.
that.
Did you watch Jurassic Park? Listen to Dr. Eaton Black. Listen to him. He's right. It's chaos. You can't control it.
Adam, have you got more slides that you wanted to show?
That's all I got. I just did our favorite. It's just our favorite cryptids.
So
that's the last one. Is the
I was actually thinking of making this like a ongoing topic on Shoot the Shit. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I love this stuff. When it was brought to me, Gaz, you were like, let's talk about aliens and Bigfoot and all of that sort of stuff. I was like, yes, please. We love G.I. Joe. We love action figures, but we also love some of the crazy zany stuff too. So anyway, well. Hello, Adam.
hello, Adam.
We want to believe. So, I would love to revisit this topic again. And now that we've gone through some of our favorites, maybe we do a little bit more of a deep dive onto some specifics.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that's my thought was like let's talk about UFOs, let's talk about alien abductions, let's talk about Bigfoot, Nessie, all that stuff. Let's just chat about it. Let's shoot the shit on it.
Just blow it out of the water. All right, so we'll definitely revisit the topic. I would love to do a little bit more dive on the UFO abductions, maybe even some of our favorite movies to do with that. Oh well, you're welcome to join us, Adam. We'll bring you on the next episode if you want to talk and shoot the shit with us. Happy to have you on there.
Yeah.
We'll get in touch. And you can come and hang out with us. Sounds like fun. Next week. What are we doing, Gaz? We're gonna do some more alien stuff, or
haunted places.
Are we? Yeah, I guess we could do that. I mean, if we have nothing else planned. I know that we're supposed to do like the Mad Max. Yeah,
we got Mad Max coming out, but I think we know so many Adams, but other Adam, the Shark Eyes Adam, Aussie Adam, he wanted to do Mad Max, but he's currently in Japan hanging out with Phil. So
we can
be cool.
We can do another phenomenon video stream next week if you want. We can just pick a topic. Maybe we'll talk about aliens. Crazy stuff with aliens.
I think that'd be awesome. In the meantime, though, we're about to jump over to our after show, which is Crash and Burn. So if you're a channel member or a Patreon supporter, links are in the comment section description. Sorry, if you want to come and join us over there. We're going to finish up here. This was great. It was really interesting to get to know everybody's favorites. But I think that we can all agree that these are all pretty special. These are all pretty wild and zany. And whether or not they're real, I think, if anything, though, it opens up our imaginations to
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if they're real or not real. It's just good fun.
It will when we go squatching at Adams.
Yes. We're all moving to Canada, and we're all going to have a squatching show.
Yeah.
We'll film that for Shoot the Shit.
Yeah, we should.
Live in the woods.
Well, yeah, this was fun, guys. It was fun hanging out. I appreciate everyone coming in here with their own unique perspectives on their favorite cryptid creatures. But yeah, I reckon we go full force into outer space and do a little bit of alien stuff.
Let's talk aliens.
Let's do it. All right, next week. And we should have G.I. Joe, The Lost Chronicles. Adam as a special guest as well. If he's free to join us, that would be cool.
You gentlemen are welcome as well.
Yep.
Oh
Anytime.
yeah. This is fun. All right, I'll see you at Crash and Burn in about 5 minutes. See you on Crash and Burn in 5 minutes.